Hi everyone, this is Carol and the state of our world on Monday, December 12th, 2022. So what is it? Good, bad, or indifferent? All three. Well, let's look at what's happening in the world. Okay. We are fighting for freedom. 2022 Nobel laureates from Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus in their own words. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations. Okay, now, there are activists from Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus who are honored the 2022 Nobel Prize Peace Ceremony. May they all continue to do good work. Okay, now, what else happened? Lowndes County and the Road to Black Power, a new film on radical voting activism in the 1960s Alabama. Okay. Okay. Now, um, okay. Okay. Now, yes, in Alabama, they were in the 60s, they were fighting for freedom, fighting for voting rights, civil rights, all kinds of things. And the county went from having no registered black voters in 1960, despite being 80% black, to being the birthplace in 1965 of the Lowndes County Freedom Organization, a radical political party that brought together grassroots activists and members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. So that's very nice that they did that back in the 60s. That was a long time ago. And this was still fighting for voting rights for people. Okay, as we saw in this election, they tried to do it. Republicans tried to do whatever they could to keep people from voting the 22 election, but they failed. Okay, now, then also, okay, so that's good. Now, some of the minor headlines. G7 leaders renew support for Ukraine amid continued fighting and power outages. Thank you. Moscow court imprisons Kremlin critic Ilya Yashin for condemning Russian violence in Ukraine. That's great. That's great. She's imprisoned for condemning Russian violence in Ukraine. Okay, and how long is she gonna? Hopefully she'll get out soon. Okay, that's okay. How long he's been sentenced for that? Okay. Uh, Hopefully he'll get out. Okay, now, removal of Peruvian President Pedro Castillo sparks deadly unrest. Election called for 2024. Okay. Okay. That is terrible what they're doing in Peru. The whole Latin America has been messed up by the colonial powers. Okay. Keystone Pipeline ruptures in Kansas, causing its worst ever oil spill. Well, you have to end it. So, okay, they use oil from Canada's tar sands to send to refineries in Illinois and the Gulf Coast. That's great. So, why? Having an investigation in Kansas, but what they resolved as a result of that. Okay, Indigenous activists rally to demand strong COP15 commitment. I totally agree. I hope they will succeed. I hope they will succeed. And also, FBI arrests Libyan accused of making bomb that brought down Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie. And that was back in what year? I think that was 1993. But I don't remember exactly. Yes, they should hold Libya and those responsible accountable. But also Israel, back in the 70s, was guilty of bringing down an Egyptian passenger plane, and they weren't held accountable. And then during Bush the father's presidency, we ended up bringing down some kind of a plane, shooting down a plane somewhere in the Middle East or whatever, and we didn't hold. The U.S. wasn't held accountable, so I don't get it. It's a double standard here. Okay, U.S. regulators approved bivalent COVID boosters for children as young as 6 months. Good. And they're going to be free. Yeah, Pfizer and Moderna and all these people, they got Johnson & Johnson, they got paid for everything. Okay, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey uses shipping containers to build makeshift border wall because he's out of office. And they lead to problems with environment and protecting wildlife and making dangerous crossings. The path of wildlife is constricted by these walls. So, and hopefully, Ducey, you didn't do anything to help your people. You should be in jail. Okay. Now, part-time faculty at the new school and strike after winning first raises in 4 years. Good for them. Video shows physical altercation between LA Council member Kevin DeLeon and protester. Yeah, he's a racist. And Karen Bass, sworn in as LA mayor, declared state of emergency over housing crisis. And that's very good in a state of emergency, but how are you going to solve it? I don't know. And Dorothy Pittman Hughes, black feminist who co-founded Ms. Magazine, died at 84. Thank you for your service, Ms. Dorothy Pittman Hughes. Thank you for your service. Okay. Now, also, Brittany Griner lands in Texas after prisoner swapped for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. I'm glad she's safe, but I'm sorry that Bout guy got out. And Congress passes landmark bill protecting marriage equality. Good, thank you. But states still have a way of keeping marriage be traditional, what they call traditional marriage. Democrats voted for the bill. All of them. The Republicans in the House, some voted for the bill, most did not. So I don't know what it is, but states have laws too, and they don't have to honor. They don't have to allow people to get married in their state in that way, but they have to honor the marriage of anyone who got married somewhere else. So I don't know. It's kind of a tricky situation. Also, Senator Kirsten Sinema leaves Democratic Party to register as independent, which said she's going to keep her committee assignments and caucus with the Democrats. That's good. So you don't, who knows? So that's good. So we still have 51-49 majority in the Senate. That's good. Okay. Whistleblower describes campaign by far-right groups to infiltrate Supreme Court. That's great. They did terrible things. And that's how we ended up getting these right-wing judges. Yep. And House votes overwhelmingly to approve $858 billion military spending bill. People don't have housing, food, or health care yet. We have all this money for weapons, boon to the defense industry. And Iranian forces target women protesters with shotgun fire to the faces and the body. That's great. I have to hold Iran accountable. well, we helped create the situation by putting the Shah in place twice, once during World War II and then again later in the next century, and later on. And then there's a rebellion against the Shah and for a right-wing Muslim leadership, and now we have all this stuff going on. Not good at all. Okay, now, okay, all right, now, so that's what's happening. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. Okay, a lot of problems in the world. Coronavirus is still here, plus the RSV virus and the flu. Okay, so that's a lot of news for today. Thank you for joining us this evening of Monday, December 12, 2022, for another meeting of Caroline Speaks, State of Our World. I'll be back again tomorrow. Take care of yourself and others, wear a mask, practice social distancing, and take the vaccine when it's available and safe for you. And how about tiny little music? Close the door, light the lights. We're staying home tonight, far away from the bustle and the bright city lights. Let them all fade away, just leave us alone. And we'll live in a world of our own. We'll build a world of our own that no one else can share. Our troubles will leave far behind us there. And I know we will find such peace of mind when we live in a world of our own. Okay, World of Her Own, written by Tom Springfield of the Springfield Folk Group, which included Sister Dusty, who went on to become an international singing star. It was recorded by Dusty and also by The Secret. So thank you again for tuning in this evening of Monday, December 12, 2022, for another meeting of Caroline Speaks to Her World. Hope you join us again. Take care of yourself and others. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. Thank you. Good night. Stay safe.